So you're diving into Python, you're writing code, things are starting to click, and then bam, a wall of red text hits you. An error. It can feel like hitting a brick wall, I get it. But here's the thing. Errors aren't failures. They're actually more like a GPS for your code, telling you exactly where you took a wrong turn. Understanding what these messages mean is probably one of the most underrated yet crucial skills for any developer. It's the difference between being stuck for hours and fixing a problem in seconds. It's the key to leveling up your coding game for real. So that's what this video is all about. We're going to break down 5 of the most common Python errors you'll run into. No jargon, no overly complex explanations, just a clean, straightforward look at what they are, why they happen, and most importantly, how to fix them. I'll walk you through a clear example for each one, showing you the broken code and then the corrected version. Think of it as a guided tour through Python's error messages. By the end of this, you'll be able to look at that red text not with fear, but with the confidence to know exactly what to do. The goal here is pretty simple: to demystify these errors and turn them from frustrating roadblocks into helpful signposts on your coding journey. We'll cover everything from simple typos to more subtle logic mistakes. Whether you're a complete beginner just starting out, or you've been coding for a bit and want to solidify your understanding, this is for you. So, grab your editor of choice and let's get into it. Let's start with maybe the most common one of all, the syntax error. Alright, first up is the syntax error. This is probably the first error every single person learning Python encounters. Think of it like a grammar mistake in a sentence. If you forget a comma or misspell a word in English, the sentence might not make sense. In Python, if you miss a colon, a parenthesis, or just type something the language doesn't understand, you get a syntax error. The interpreter is literally telling you, I don't understand the structure of what you just wrote. It's the most fundamental rule breaking in the Python language. Let's look at a classic example. You're trying to write a simple if statement. You might type something like this: if x plus 5 print x is greater than 5. Now, to a human, that looks perfectly readable. We know what you mean. But for the Python interpreter, it's a hard stop. It was expecting a colon after the condition x5, and because it's not there, it throws a syntax error expected. It's super specific, which is actually a good thing. The error message itself is your biggest clue, pointing you directly to the spot where the grammar is off. So, how do you fix it? It's usually as simple as carefully reading the error message and looking at the line of code it points to. In our example, the fix is just adding that missing colon. The corrected code would be if x.5 print x is greater than 5. And just like that, the error is gone. The key takeaway for syntax errors is to be meticulous. Check your parentheses, your colons, your quotes, and your indentation. It's almost always a small typo, and the interpreter is your best friend in finding it. Slowing down and double-checking your work is the best defense against this one. So, next on our list is the name error. This one is less about grammar and more about memory. A name error happens when you try to use a variable or a function name that Python doesn't recognize. Essentially, you're asking Python to use something that hasn't been defined yet. It's like asking a friend to pass you the thingamajig. If they don't know what a thingamajig is, they can't help you. Python is the same way. If it hasn't seen the name before, it raises a name error, basically saying, I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see it in action. Imagine you're writing a script to greet a user. You might have a line that says, print my message. But if you forgot to actually create the my_message variable first, you're going to hit a wall. When you run the code, Python will stop and tell you, name error name my_message is not defined. It's incredibly direct. It tells you the exact name that it couldn't find. This often happens because of a simple typo in the variable name, or you try to use a variable before you assigned a value to it. The fix for a name error is all about making sure your variables are defined before you use them, and that you've spelled them correctly everywhere. In our example, the fix is to simply define the variable on a line before we try to print it. So, you'd add my_message equals hello world before the print my message line. Now, when Python gets to the print statement, it knows exactly what my_message refers to. So, if you see a name error, your first steps should be to check for typos and make sure the variable was assigned a value earlier in the code's execution flow. Okay, moving on to type error. This one is a bit more subtle. A type error occurs when you try to perform an operation on a data type that doesn't support that operation. Think of it like trying to add a word to a number. You can add 5 plus 10, that makes sense. But what is hello plus 10? It doesn't have a logical answer. Python runs into the same confusion. When you try to combine or manipulate data types in a way that's incompatible, it throws a type error, telling you that the type of object you're using is wrong for the operation you're attempting. Here's a very common scenario where you'll see a type error. Let's say you're getting some input from a user, which is always a string, and you want to do some math with it. You might have code like this. User_age equals input, enter your age, followed by age_in_10_years equals user_age plus 10. This looks like it should work, but it will crash. The input function returns a string, so user_age is something like 25, not the number 25. Python doesn't know how to add a string to an integer, so it raises a type error, can only concatenate str, not int to str, or a similar message. Fixing a type error is all about data type conversion. You need to make sure your variables are the correct type before you operate on them. In our case, we need to convert the string from the user input into an integer. The fix is to wrap the user_age variable in the int function. The corrected line would be age_in_10_years equals int user age plus 10. Now, Python converts the string 25 to the integer 25, and the addition works perfectly. So when you encounter a type error, look closely at the data types involved and use functions like int, star, or float to convert them to the type you need. Alright, let's talk about the index error. This error is specific to ordered collections of data, like lists, tuples, or even strings. An index error happens when you try to access an item in a sequence using an index that is outside the valid range of indices. Think of a list like a bookshelf with numbered slots. If you only have 3 slots, numbered 0, 1, and 2, and you try to grab a book from slot number 5, there's nothing there. Python gives you an index error to tell you, hey, you're trying to access a position that doesn't exist in this list. Let's look at a simple example. Say you have a list of your favorite gadgets. Gadgets equals phone, laptop, headphones. In Python, lists are 0 indexed, meaning the first item is at index 0, the second at index 1, and the third at index 2. Now, if you try to access the third item correctly, you'd write gadgets at index 2. But a common mistake is to think in terms of the list's length. If you try to access gadgets at index 3, thinking it's the third item or because the list has 3 items, Python will stop you with an index error list index out of range. The fix for an index error involves being mindful of the size of your lists and the fact that they are 0 indexed. Before accessing an index, you should be sure it's valid. A good practice is to remember that for a list of length n, the valid indices are always from 0 to n-1. In our example, the list has a length of 3, so the valid indices are 0, 1, and 2. To get the last item, you should use gadgets at index 2, or even better, Python's negative indexing, gadgets at -1, which always gives you the last item regardless of the list size. Check your loop ranges and direct index access to make sure you're staying within the bounds. Last but not least, let's cover the value error. This one can be a bit tricky because it's closely related to type error, but with a key difference. A value error occurs when you pass an argument to a function that is the right type, but has an inappropriate value. With a type error, you might try to add a string to a number. With a value error, you might try to convert a string to a number, but the string itself doesn't actually represent a number. The function knows what to do with the type, but the specific content of that type is unusable for the operation. Let's go back to our age calculator example. We know that to add a number to the user's input, we need to convert it to an integer using the int function. Our code is int user age. This works perfectly if the user types in 25. But what if the user types 25 in words or just hello? The variable user_age is still a string, which is the correct type for the int function to receive. However, the value hello cannot be converted into an integer. In this case, Python will raise a value error invalid literal for int with base 10, hello. Fixing a value error often requires more than just changing the code. It requires anticipating bad user input. This is where error handling comes in. The most robust way to handle this is with a try and accept block. You can try to perform the conversion, and if a value error occurs, you can accept it and handle it gracefully, maybe by printing a message like, please enter a valid number, and asking the user for input again. So the fix looks like this. Try age equals int / user age. Accept value error, print invalid input. Please enter a number. This makes your code much more resilient and user-friendly. So there you have it. 5 of the most common errors you'll face in Python, demystified. We've walked through syntax error, name error, type error, index error, and value error. As you can see, none of them are as scary as they first appear. Each error message is actually a clue, a breadcrumb trail left by the Python interpreter to help you find and fix the problem. The real skill isn't writing perfect code from the start. Nobody does that. The real skill is in reading, understanding, and responding to these errors quickly and efficiently. Think of these errors not as a sign that you're a bad programmer, but as a sign that you're an active one. You're pushing boundaries, trying new things, and building something. Making mistakes is an inevitable and essential part of that process. The more errors you see and fix, the more you learn, and the faster you'll become at diagnosing problems in the future. It's like building muscle memory for debugging. So don't be afraid to break things. Don't be shy about experimenting. That's where the real learning happens. My advice is to practice. Take these examples, play with them, and intentionally try to cause these errors yourself. The more comfortable you become with seeing them, the less they'll intimidate you when they pop up unexpectedly in your own projects. Keep coding, keep learning, and embrace the errors as part of the journey. They're not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.